Very good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Today, the agenda of webinar is to introduce you to the one-year MBA program in Digital Enterprise Management, as well as address any queries you may have for us regarding the same. My name is Piyush Uppal. I'm a student of current cohort of Digital Enterprise Management program at IIM Udaipur, and I'll be your host for today's session. Prior to joining the MBA program, I was working with Tata Consulting Services as an IT analyst and wanted to pursue an MBA which would not only equip me with the strong business fundamentals, but also to help me understand how to leverage latest technologies. So far, the course has been rigorous and exciting and has helped me build more than the technical knowledge and business acumen. It has helped me in sharpen my leadership skill as well as communication skills. And we have been lucky to have onboarded on the campus safely and have hybrid sessions to enrich our MBA experience. So before introducing our panelist, I request everyone and every attendees, if you have any question, kindly put your questions in Q&A session, not in the chat box. Now I take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed panelists for the webinar. We are delighted to have with us Professor Rajesh Agrawal, who is chairperson of one-year MBA program at IIM Udaipur. And our special guest for today's webinar is Mr. Kamesh Mullapudi. He's a leader for strategy and analytics practice, as well as for M&A practice at Deloitte Consult. He's also an advisory board member for DEM program. Mr. Mullapudi completed his BTech from Nagarjuna University and is an alum of Johns Hopkins University as well as Yale School of Management. He's the advisor to the Deloitte Consulting US CEO as a part of Consulting Strategy Council and is also on the board of directors for Deloitte investment initiatives in the country. His focus is predominantly on innovating and transforming business models, and he works with many global tech, media, and telecom clients to formulate and execute business strategies. And without any further ado, I would like to hand over to Mr. Kamesh to address the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Piyush, and it's a much broader introduction than I would have done for myself. And I continue to let people know that I've just had an opportunity to go to Johns Hopkins and Yale for short programs. I do not have a degree from either of them. With that said, very happy to be here. Happy to continue to engage in this dialogue with prospective students at IIM Udaipur. Professor Agrawal has been kind to entertain me and engage me on these conversations multiple times. I think maybe I'll provide a couple of minutes of an overview of my involvement with this program in the past, 2.5 to 3 years now. In the very early stages, when Professor Janath was contemplating bringing a new program together, he reached out to the industry participants across India for sure, and maybe outside of India, to get a sense of what might a future of management education be if they were to start from scratch. And as part of my role in hiring a lot of business school graduates in India and outside of India over the years, one area that I felt strongly about is the need for our business management graduates to have a very strong understanding of the technological innovations happening in the world. Right? I'm being very careful with the words here. This is not for you to understand how to program. This is not for you to understand how to tweak the tools and all that. This is for you to understand how technology impacts business, which is where a significant gap has been identified over the years in the cohorts coming from various business schools. And the reason it's important is, it's easy for all of you as millennials to understand this, is there is not a corner of business today that is not impacted by technology. It's extremely hard, and up until last year, maybe 2 years ago, we used to think Kirana stores were protected from technology. It looks like that's not true anymore with GeoMart coming in, right? So if you have a neighborhood Kirana store disrupted by digital, imagine what it is doing, what digital is doing for everything else that's happening in the world, and that the services and the products that we consume. And all of these products and services are coming from companies that we interact and engage with. And each of you, as aspiring students of a business management degree, are likely to play an important role in those companies in the future. So we felt that it's incredibly critical for our business management graduates to get a very strong foundational understanding of digital technologies and how digital is disrupting business. And that's what you have as digital enterprise management. It is certainly, and I'm proud to be associated with a program that is first of its kind in India. I'm sure you'll find many more now that it is validated and the need is there, and everyone is beginning to realize that they all have to teach digital technologies along with management. So you'll probably find a few more programs, but I'm really proud to be associated with the IIM Udaipur program as a brand new program that we started about 3 years ago. Continues to go strong. I think the team sizes, cohort size is going up every year. And I've been on campus a few times already, and it's a phenomenal campus. So really looking forward to this engagement with you guys today and to address as many questions as you might have. Professor Agrawal, over to you.
Thank you
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamesh. Professor Rajesh, I'll just share the presentation now.
Yes. So while we are waiting for Piyush to load the presentation, I would like to thank Mr. Kamesh for giving you an overview of what was the reason IIM Udaipur decided to start a program specific with the context of digital enterprise management. So next slide, please, Piyush. So many of you have questions around the program, eligibility criteria and the structure. So let me take that up front. First of all, you should be aware that once you finish this program, you get an MBA degree from IIM Udaipur. So it's a master's degree. It's a 1-year full-time program. It's a residential program. It's a full-time program. And the program is going to be held on campus, but you see an asterisk there, subject to government orders, because we are in difficult times. We are hoping that by the time your batch joins in, pandemic is behind us, and we should be able to welcome you face-to-face on campus and hold classes on campus. But there is that caveat that in a situation that we are not able to, it will be online. To be able to apply for this program, you have to have at least 36 months of full-time experience after your bachelor's degree. So you should have a post-qualification 3 years of experience, and you must have a valid GRE or a Gmat or a CAT score. So a lot of you asked this question about what is the cutoff below which I should not apply. And here I would like to answer this, that we do not have a specific cutoff in mind for any of these tests. While the admissions committee evaluates applications, we look at the overall profile of each candidate, and we then take a decision whether the candidate is going to benefit from this program or not, can withstand the rigor of the program or not. So these scores are only one input in the process, right? So we do not have a specific cutoff in mind. Next slide, please. Right, so, Mr. Kamesh talked about the rationale of designing this program in digital enterprise. He talked about the disruptions, right? And he also talked about a Kirana store getting disrupted. What more can we talk about the relevance of the DEM program? We had designed this program before the pandemic, right? And it so happened that the pandemic happened, and it only fueled the speed, the velocity with which things are happening in the digital space. So let me tell you as to the broad parameters of this program. It's like this, that because you are going to embark on a journey of doing a master's in business administration, the core of the program offering is going to be looking at things from a business perspective. That's the fundamental thing that we must be very clear about. So as you can see in the pyramid at the bottom, that you see in the beginning, basically you are going to be exposed to all the core courses or fundamental courses of business management, such as finance, operations, human resources, strategy, everything, right? Once you have had a chance to go through the business fundamentals, then we bring in the idea of digital management. What we talk there is that how these concepts are applied in digital organizations, focusing on the emerging concepts, practices, methods, so that you can appreciate this entire digital world, correct? Then having done that, and not necessarily sequentially, then we talk about technology and data. Whenever we talk about digital, essentially we are talking about data and technology. So at the heart of digital is data and technology, correct? The role of the data and technology in the digital world, correct? And how then the participants start appreciating the role and the full relevance of data and technology in the digital world. Going forward, then we say, how can technologies are involved in creating, managing, and analyzing data? And how essentially can you leverage the power of data and technology in improving business decisions, in improving business outcomes, right? So while at one level we can say digital has disrupted everything, at one level it also presents lots of opportunities, correct, for businesses to improve their performance and be the leader in the industry. Then when we move forward, then we talk about, okay, here you have learned all this thing. You've learned the business concepts, you've learned your application in the digital world and all that. Then we talk about you should get the opportunity to apply these learnings in the real life context in the different industry verticals. The industry vertical could be retail, could be healthcare, could be fintech, or even a social enterprise. So how do you really apply these learnings in different industry verticals, including media, right? So people talk about how do we apply there. Then you can say, okay, we have learned all these things, but I have not had a chance to dirty my hands. And how do you dirty your hands? By really doing things yourself, by experimenting. And that's where you learn the real application, the real life application in the projects. Real life company projects gives you the opportunity to really apply this learning in the real life context. And that gives you the confidence that you are industry ready, that you are that much ready. It's like doing a cricket net practice before playing the real ball in the cricket stadium, right? So the projects give you that confidence. So this is the broad design of the program. I must say that the Institute has benefited a great deal in designing the program from experts such as Mr. Kamesh and other people in industry, captains in the field of digital, who advise us in the program design and delivery, right? But we will be happy to answer more questions as you come in the Q&A section. Next slide, please. So these are the broad set of DEM courses. I'm not going to read them out, but as you can see in the orange box, right, in the left hand side of the screen, when we talk about the business management fundamentals, you have all sorts of courses like accounting, finance, statistics, communication, marketing, and things like that. Even in those courses, we bring in the digital flavor as much as we can. But moving on, then you have fundamentals of digital management, data and technology courses, industry verticals I talked to you about, and then experiencing digital management through your projects and capstone. Capstone is the integrative learning exercise that you shall have. And this is the broad design of the DEM program. Next slide, please. So what we have done at IIM Udaipur is that we believe that digital is the future of business in ways more than one. And because we recognize the importance of this, the institute has set up a center for digital enterprise, which is headed by Dr. Shekhar. And I'm going to talk to you in the next couple of slides about the activities of this center. Next slide, please. So the center becomes a platform to help us do an industry and an academia alliance. So what the alliance does is that with the benefit of the industry captains in the field of digital, we are able to write case studies in the field of digital. Faculty members have an opportunity to visit these organizations, document the issues and the problems of these organizations, opportunities that present before us, and we bring in that learning to the classroom. As a result, the classroom conversation becomes that much richer, correct? So that is what this platform provides us with. The other opportunity because of this platform is that some of the industry professionals alongside the faculty members write research papers which are then published in the journals of digital enterprise. The other thing that we benefit from such an alliance is that industry practitioners teach many of the courses that are offered in this program. So as you can see that this program is particularly designed with a huge collaboration with the industry. And as I said, the advantage of this collaboration is that we are able to deliver and design a very high quality program, which is of value and relevance to the participants of this program. Next slide, please. So I was talking to the advisory board, and here you can see that this, we have designed this center, and the center has an advisory board consisting of several industry captains. So we have, industry professionals in the management consulting space from Accenture and Deloitte, in the technology space from IBM, consumer-facing companies such as Star TV, Kimberly-Clark, and then Tech Mahindra, and then startup or platform players such as Quicker, InfoAge, and Flipkart, including the dean of our program and dean of our faculty and the board members. They are all put together, constitute our advisory board. And this advisory board advises us on the design and the delivery of the program. Next slide, please.
Apologies, Professor, and every attendee. Just give me 1 second. I'm facing one technical issue.
Okay.
Allow me a few seconds.
Sure. So while I'm waiting for Piyush to bring the slide up, what I'm going to talk about is the experience of the placement, which is of concern and importance to all of you. The DEM program is started in the last year, and the placement of the last batch happened in this March. And I must say that the entire batch got placed completely. This year, we are in the month of January, and by the end of December itself, 80% of the batch got placed. And so he's going to show you here the list of companies that, can you move to the next slide, please, Piyush? Yes. So here you can see the list of companies that have recruited from the campus this year, companies such as Cognizant, Accenture, their different verticals. Then you have IBM, so I'm not reading the whole lot of companies listed here, but approximately 30 odd companies showed interest in recruiting. And these are the companies already have recruited 80% of our batch, which is unusual because the program ends somewhere around in the month of April end. And then we have the placement, which is already 80% over. The average salary this year is 21 lakhs so far. So many of you look at the payback period or return on investments. The course fee is approximately 21 lakh. So it pays you back in a year's time. Next slide, please. So in summary, why should you look at the DEM program? We believe it's a unique program. It's about the digital world where the context is digital, but ultimately the focus of the program is all about business. And you get an MBA degree from a reputable institution. Next one, please, Piyush. It is heavily industry oriented in its design and delivery that we talked about. And it is a premier institution with significant ranking in most of the matrices. Let me talk about the QS World University ranking and the Financial Times ranking. All of you are aware about Financial Times published, is a very prestigious daily. So there are only 3 IIMs in the country which have featured consistently for 3 years in the QS World University ranking and Financial Times ranking, which is IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, and IIM Udaipur. So this is a matter of great pride for us that in a short period of time, we are only 10-year-old, but we are there in the very prestigious ranking of Financial Times and QS World University ranking. Another thing which merits consideration is the accreditation. So we are accredited by AACSB. Only 5% of the business schools globally have this accreditation. And you can appreciate that IIM Udaipur is one of them. Again, not very many institutions in the country have such an accreditation. And we are also ranked 18th by the Government of India ranking. So I would like to end by saying that we believe those of you who are looking at an opportunity in doing an MBA and want to be a part of this digital future, you would like to consider this, but you should join this program or apply in this program only if it kind of aligns with your career goals. And so this is what, if you have any question that remain unanswered after the Q&A section, you're very welcome to connect to us at the email address displayed here or at the telephone numbers that you see here. So this slide will be there for a while. You may like to take a screenshot. And I would now urge that if you have any question, please place them in the Q&A section, not in the chat section. So I would like to hand it over to Piyush, who could conduct the Q&A section. Over to you, Piyush.
Thank you so much, Professor Rajesh, for the wonderful explanation of all the program. I'll now start with the Q&A session. So the first question we have is from anonymous person. The question is there any criteria for minimum CAT score and GMAT score?
As I mentioned a while ago, that we do not have a specific cutoff in mind. If you feel digital is something that excites you, if doing an MBA is a part of the agenda in your career, you should go ahead and apply and leave the decision to the admissions committee whether you get the admission in the program or not.
The next question we have is also anonymous. The question is how this course is different from other one-year courses of other IIM programs.
So I would like to say this, that there are 2 kinds of programs you find. One is a general MBA, right? Like 2-year MBAs are mostly general MBA program. It doesn't have a specific focus. You also have several 1-year MBA programs offered by other IIMs, which are general MBA programs. At IIM Udaipur, we believe that digital is the future for several decades to come. And it is in that context, we believe that those who are aspiring to become managers, it's important that not only they do an MBA, but they do an MBA with a bias in favor of digital so that they have a USP of digital within their hands over and above an MBA. So you are not compromising an MBA qualification. We are only adding a cherry on the top by understanding the context of digital better than others do. But finally, it's your call. You have to feel excited about this to be able to apply for this.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is from Mr. Shashank Prasad. The question is, I saw that the management consulting is an elective for GSCM program, but is not present in DIM program in this brochure. Can you please let me know if management consulting is available for DEM as well?
So as of now, given the number of courses that are offered in the DEM program, we do not have space to offer this management consulting as an elective course in the DEM program. But once this program starts and we see an opportunity of offering electives, we are certainly going to consider some electives to be offered. But we are not certain yet. But it's simply because we have a whole host of courses in Dem to be offered, and we are not able to find space to offer such elective.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is from Sampath Kumar. The question is, I already applied for this program. My total experience is 10 years and 9 months. Will there be any problem in the selection process?
So it's a good question. I think what we have found from our experience that participants who have an experience ranging from 3 to 8 years is a real sweet spot. When the industry looks at us and looks at the participants, in this experience bracket, it is relatively easy for us to place them. The moment the experience becomes higher than 8 to 10 years, or in the range of 8 to 10 years, it starts becoming challenging. And beyond 10 years, it becomes really difficult for us to place the participants. Because in that category, you have mostly lateral placements. Companies are, recruit through a different process rather than going to MBA campuses, business school campuses to recruit people at that level of experience. So I think if you have over 10 years of experience, it will be a challenging thing for us to place such participants.
Thank you, Professor. The next question we have is from Saurabh Sharan. The question is, I'm doing PGDM from DMI Patna. After that, I'm joining an organization. My organization field experiences is eligible for 1-year MBA program. So
Tanu,
Mr. Saurabh, can you please explicit question?
Yeah, means according to question, I can understand that he is still studying and then he'll join the company. So as per our program, we require 3 years of full-time work experience to apply for the program. So I suppose once you complete your 3 years, you will be eligible to apply for the program.
Thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Saurabh, if your question is not answered properly, could you please repost your questions in the Q&A section? So the next question we have is from Avinav Saxena. So what must be the content of video profile? Should one go for his professional resume or personal traits or future goals, or as in why I want to join, or how will it be relevant to my profile?
You would like to take this?
Yes, sir. So regarding a video profile, as we mentioned in the application form, the video profile is more about to describe yourself, your future goals, and your why you want to join this program. So it's more about a self-introductory video where you can explain about your goals, your future goals, why you want to join this program, and your past experience.
Thank you, Tanu ma'am. Next question we have is from Shashank. Will it be necessary for a candidate to have a technical background for this course?
Right. So let me take this and I will lean on the experience of Mr. Kamesh to help me here. We believe that this is a program in business management with the digital context. We are not talking about this program as making you an expert in data or technology, right? This program is not at all in that area. And in that sense, we in fact encourage candidates to come from both technical as well as non-technical background to be able to join this program. And we have such participants already on campus this year as well as last year who didn't come from a technical background and have done very well. Because, as I said, you must be passionate about this whole digital revolution, so to say. But you don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to have a technical background. But Mr. Kamesh would like to add on this.
Absolutely. No, I think you have clarified it as I would probably put it as well, Professor Rajesh. There is. Let me talk about the profile of the consultants that we have, right? I mean, when we hire from many of these premier institutes, including Udaipur, what we are looking for is a strong underpinning of business fundamentals, which is what you get taught in an MBA, and that's what you're getting from the IIM as well. But the the additional learning that you have in DEM is an exposure to what the technological landscape is across the domains, right? How is analytics being used to make decision making within organizations? What is the impact of blockchain in, let's say, banking or insurance kind of sectors? How do you consider some of the newer disruptions happening, technological disruptions happening, as you transform your organization to be future ready? So it's more an exposure and an understanding of what the technology is doing to the business rather than how the technology works, right? And I think the good news is there are enough experts available in each of these technologies everywhere, including in Deloitte. And anytime we go about to solve a problem, it's a team-oriented approach. So we bring in the deep technical experts, we bring in the management experts to solve the problem, and an exposure to each of these disruptions will help you understand, how to take advantage of the disruption that's being provided by the technology, right? And technology can be a disruptor in a positive sense and a negative sense. You want to be prepared for the positive disruption.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Mr. Kamesh. So, Professor, next question is an anonymous question. Is there any international immersion through the program? Maybe I can take this up.
We don't have an international immersion in this program because we find that that may not add as significant a value as doing more courses. So we don't have it here.
Another question is about the cost of the program. I would recommend you to please visit the IIMU website. The entire fee of the program, everything is listed out there.
But having said that, it's rupees 21 lakhs to be paid in different installments.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Avinav Saxena. How the IIMU DEM program provides the industry exposure to students?
So we believe that the minimum 3 years of industry experience requirement that you have to be able to apply in this program is good enough for you to be able to get the best value out of the program in terms of your learning outcomes. On top of that, as I mentioned, that in your later half of the program, the bias is more towards applying the learnings of the first half in the program in specific industry verticals, as I mentioned, such as fintech, retail, healthcare, B2B, etc. And also by doing projects, live projects with the companies, right? And that's where towards the end of the program, when you do projects, you get the real hands-on experience of solving problems that the companies face. So that is the two different ways in which you bring as close to the industry and as close to the real life as possible in an academic program.
Thank you, sir. So the next is also an anonymous question. How this program is helpful for an IT guy who wants to change their domain?
So Mr. Kamesh, would you take that question?
Sure. I think any learning is going to be incrementally beneficial, no matter what type of course you do and where you do it from. Whether, and it all depends on what type of experience you have now and how you're positioned with the role that maybe is being offered in campus placements and all that. But the way we recruit in general is to look for a closest match to the type of work that we do vis-a-vis what you bring to the table, right? Let's say you have done Salesforce.com working with retail clients in the past 3 or 4 or 5 years. When we come for campus recruiting, we we are generally going to target a profile like that for any retail sector oriented management consulting roles. The reason we do that is your ability to succeed is much greater. It doesn't mean that you'll go back to coding in salesforce.com for retail sector. It just means that because of your knowledge and experience of retail, helps you get up to speed with the client problems faster, right? That's probably your first project. The second project may be oil and gas because that's all I have available, and I may not have another retail client project available with me. And I'm not incentivized to keep you waiting for the next retail project. So I think, and at the end of all of this, the way I would probably explain this is your ability to learn on the fly and adapt quickly is what makes you successful in any domain. Your past experience is helpful, but that's not decisive.
Thank you, Mr. Kamesh. The next question we have is also an anonymous question. The question is, what benefits can a civil engineer graduate with 6 years of experience can get from this course structure?
Right. So let me take this based on the response from Mr. Kamesh. Is this that it's not about civil engineering as such. Civil engineering has taught you many things, right? As an engineer, you learn analytical skills, and that stays with you for life. The question is, whatever is your past learning, added with what you are going to learn here in this program, how can you deliver value to the organization, right? So the organizations will hire you largely for what you're going to learn in the MBA program, and perhaps less so for your background in the past. And that is the reason people come from a variety of backgrounds and have done exceedingly well depending on their interest and their initiative. So I would say the fact that you come from a civil engineering background perhaps is neither a positive nor a negative. It all depends as to how do you leverage your learnings in the program and afterwards.
Thank you, Professor Rajesh. So another question is, do we have any placements in the field of digital marketing?
I would not be able to say a yes or no answer. Maybe you can drop a mail and our admissions office will let you know that this year whether we have had companies who has recruited in this this particular domain, but I would not be able to answer that. So maybe please drop a mail to us and we'll let you know.
I would like to add one point here. We do have a course on digital marketing, and it also includes a live project, not a live project, we have to build a campaign on that. So you do get exposure in the digital marketing area. And if you form any further information placements regarding, you can please drop them. So the next question is from Avinav Saxena. He says he wants to know about the experiential learning component of this program.
We talked about it before that, there are opportunities in the program through the projects and the various industry verticals that you get to apply whatever you have learned in the first half of the course.
Thank you, Professor. The next question we have from Harsha Vardhan. The question is, I belong to accounts background, so how this program will benefit me? I think Professor Rajesh would be a perfect person to answer this.
Yes. So as I said, it doesn't matter whether you come from an accounting background, IT background, or civil engineering for that matter. What you do in this program is going to be of value. Certainly your past experience stays with you. And then how do you leverage your past plus what you do here to make a candidature to the potential companies, and the companies will recruit you for what they are looking for. And as I said, it's not a disadvantage or an advantage. We have had in this batch itself, people joining from accounting background, including the last batch as well. People do come from accounting background as well and do this course.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is, I've already applied in DEM program last year, but couldn't make it through the interview. So am I eligible for apply this year?
Of course, you are eligible to apply this year. The fact that you didn't make it last year is not going to be held against you. You make a fresh application and you're very welcome to apply.
So the next question is from Shashank. What kind of profile will be best suited for being shortlisted for this program?
So as I said, we don't have a specific answer to this. That, as I said, we look at your scores, your years of experience, the kind of experience, your academic background, and the admissions committee looks at all these factors in totality and makes a judgment call. So it's hard for me to say one specific thing that could be of value. So as I said, if I were a candidate, I would look at it like this, that am I passionate about the digital future? And am I interested in doing an MBA? Then perhaps this is the program for me and I should apply. And leave the decision of shortlisting or otherwise to the committee, because rather than overthinking about whether you are going to make it in the shortlisting or not.
Thank you, Professor. Another question is, what is the expected batch strength for this year's intake? That's an honest question.
So first of all, we don't have any specific number in mind that we must have. We are expecting a batch size of approximately 40 to 50 candidates, but we are not going to compromise on the intake quality of candidates. But and we are also conscious of admitting only those many people whom we can place relatively well in the company. So with that in mind, we are planning to have a batch size of 40 to 50 students. The current batch strength is 37. The last year, which was the first year, was only 15 candidates. So as you can see, the program is growing in strength as the year progresses.
Thank you, sir. The next question is an anonymous question. Would this course be helpful for someone with 10 years of experience? I believe this question already be answered by Professor Rajesh. Moving on, the next question is, for the section on this course, as well as during the hiring process, is the non-technical background any disadvantage? I believe the same has also been.
Yeah, not at all. In fact, if you come from a non-technical background, as Mr. Kamesh has also mentioned about it, and that it is your interest in the program and your ability to, contribute to the organization that matters, because there are enough technical experts within the organization. Your strength is understanding the business, what technology can do to help business, right? Leveraging the power of technology, and that's what you're going to learn in the program.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Shashank Prasad. So he says, if my goal is to get into consulting domain by the end of the program, what percentage of students are getting into the consulting domain?
So maybe I will invite Mr. Kamesh to talk about the relevance of this program in the consulting domain. And so any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think, all of these programs at IIM Udaipur enable you to get into consulting. Deloitte, almost every year has been recruiting at Udaipur in various programs, including DGM. And the relevance is very high. We are in fact looking for people that have a combination of both the business management training as well as exposure to technology in one go. So your ability to get into consulting, I would say, is pretty high. Just looking at the names of companies that have hired, I saw a number of consulting names, so that probably is a good validation. In terms of percentage of consulting companies or consulting offers, I'll defer that to Professor Rajesh. I don't know that I have that data.
Thank you, Mr. Kamesh. We have another question on the similar line of the person has 8.5 years of IT experience. So he's also asking what can we expect from the program. I think the question has been answered. So Professor, next question is from Kapil Gugoria. Does this course also give us learning about the digital marketing and affiliated digital marketing? I believe I've already answered this. We have a subject called digital marketing in this program. And we also have a project in that substance. We apply our learnings to that project. Another question is anonymous question. What is the median salary of the 80% students placed till now?
So we know that the average salary is 21 lakh. And I would believe that the median salary is also of a similar number, maybe a lakh higher than this, but approximately of that same kind. So yes, your good question. Median and average are broadly the same in this case.
Thank you, Professor. And another question is anonymous question. What has been the average Gmat for the program of the previous batch?
So we have answered this.
We have answered this, yes. Another question is from Rohan Kankar. Thank you for the great insights about the program. The digital enterprise management will help me change my score. I'm having a 9.5 years of experience in infrastructure sector and having Gmat score of 740. So there's no question out there. I believe he's asking that is it eligible or not. There's no question after it.
Right. So I think the fact that you have, 9.5 years of experience, as I mentioned that, if you apply in this program and get shortlisted and join this program, the only thing that you have to be conscious about is that, as I mentioned, with the 8 to 10 year bracket, experience bracket, it becomes harder for us to get suitable placement. And if you're conscious of that and that is the risk you're willing to take, then you're very welcome to apply. And yeah, so that's all I would like to say in this.
Thank you, sir. Another question we have from Sampath Kumar. He's asking, if I don't want placement from the college experience, will it matter? Because while applying, I opt out from not seeing the placement. I want to join back to the same company.
Right. So
I believe that's
very welcome. There are always, in every program, there are some students who go back to their own family-run business or own same employer where they came from. So it's up to you. But what we are saying is placement is a facility available within the institute. It's optional whether you like to avail of this or not. It's up to you.
Another question we have, can we join as program on sabbatical and no placement expectation?
Absolutely. So if you join a program on sabbatical, you're very welcome to, apply in that category. In fact, in the application process itself, you can choose an option that you are applying through sabbatical, and in which case you don't join the placement process.
Thank you. Another question is also an anonymous question. What kind of roles have been offered to the current batch, and what kind of prerequisite skills will the person in the getting selected for the program?
So as far as the current batch, Piyush, would you like to answer this because you're part of the current batch?
Sure, sir. So many roles have been offered in the current batch. The roles have been product management, consulting, management consulting, technology consulting, and analyst, business analyst roles. So the very different roles, wide variety of roles have been offered in wide area of domains, from life science to retail to digital transformation management has also been a role that is offered by a company. So there are a lot of roles that are being offered, and the course gives you quite a different exposure to quite a lot of courses and offers basically.
So Piyush, there is a follow-up question that the person has is whether
what kind of prerequisite
are the companies looking at any prerequisite, or they're just relying on the experience in DEM program?
Professor, as for my interview experience, companies do ask about your past experience, and it's sometimes better to have a good understanding of a particular domain, but it's not necessary to have a in-depth skill set or any particular skill set that you may leverage in the program. So you may come from any different domain or any different skill set, but interview may be asked upon what was the previous experience and what was the skill set so far before joining the MBA program. But it's not any mandatory, or you don't have to have any competency in one particular skill set that the companies are looking for. Okay, so maybe we can go to the next question. So the next question is, I would be applying in the 4th cycle. How bleak would be the chances of getting selected?
So your chances don't depend so much on the cycle in which you apply. I would say that, as I said, if you are passionate about digital and you want to do an MBA, go ahead and apply. That's what matters.
Thank you, sir. So we have another anonymous question. The person says, I'm doing a PhD from one of the IIM. I'm currently enrolled in the program last year, but now realize even in the field I'm exploring currently is in the same digital domain. And I realize that corporate is more suitable for me than the academics. My question is PhD program also funded? Would the time spent in the program so far would be considered in the work experience since the PhD program is funded?
No, so PhD experience is not part of industry experience. So you have to have 3 years of full-time industry experience to be able to apply in this program.
Thank you, Professor. Other question we have from Akshay Konkanda. I have 6 years of experience in sales and marketing as a BDM. Can I expect to change from sales to consulting? And I have experience in edtech domain sector as well.
So Kamesh, would you like to
Yeah,
answer?
no, absolutely. I think there are a few questions that are focused on how the past experience helps, enables, or does not enable your chances in various domains, including consulting. I'll give you my personal view, right? When I am interviewing a candidate, notwithstanding their prior experience or background, what I am looking for is how focused were they in the job that they have done before, whether you've spent 2 years doing it, 3 years doing it, 10 years doing it. It doesn't matter as much as what did you do for the time that you spent in the previous organization. How deep is your knowledge? How passionate were you about kind of identifying the problems in that industry and trying to solve those problems? Because what I'm looking for as a consultant is your ability to solve problems and your passion for looking for those problems to solve. If you're able to demonstrate that through interview, you could be coming from not-for-profit sector, you could be coming from infrastructure sector. I mean, I actually hired someone several years ago who worked on an offshore oil rig. There is not a whole lot of similarities between working in an offshore oil rig and putting a tie on and being a management consultant. They're just quite different in terms of what we expect the people to do. But offshore oil rig provides incredible amount of experience in crisis management. You are away from the land. You have no idea how the waves will hit. You have no idea whether the employees on the rig are going to be safe or not. You're always on the edge in terms of evacuations, right? If something were to happen, I think those are incredibly important skills that are relevant for any business. So my interviewing approach in that situation will be more focused on what kind of challenges did you face and how did you solve those challenges? What is your preparedness for it? What is your understanding of what an offshore oil rig provides and stuff like that? So I guess the summary answer is whatever you do, as long as you were focused on it and you learned something from it, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Kamesh. And I would request all the attendees to please put in the question in Q&A section. So the next question we have is from Sanjana Varshney. I have done an BTech plus MTech dual degree in biotechnology, and I get semester-wise grades and aggregate CGPA post my course. How do I mention the scores separately?
Anu, can you answer this?
Yes, sir. So in the application form, we have given an option of giving your aggregate CGPA, and there is an option you can mention to convert the conversion formula in your in the column. So you don't have to give a individual grades. You can give a aggregate CGPA in a column.
Thank you, Tanu ma'am. We have one question from Saurabh sir. I would request you to please rephrase your question. It's not clear to me, and please post it in the Q&A section again. So the next question is from Sanjana Varshney again. Do we need to send GMAT score through GMAC as well? Tanu ma'am, if you could answer.
Yeah, Sanjana, it is not necessary to send a score from GMAC. You can upload your mark sheet in your application form. That will be fine.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Another question is anonymous question: is the loans available for the program? I can answer that yes, the loan facility is available. We have tie-up with many different banks, so that's not going to be a problem for that.
I'd like to add one point. Even we on the website, if you go on a fees and financing section, you can see the whole detail regarding a bank where we have a tie-up with a person, details and the documents required.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Another anonymous question is it an executive MBA?
Right, let me take this. So, executive MBA is a generic name, and the reason we don't use the phrase executive MBA because it means different thing to different people. And that's why we call it what it is. It's a one-year MBA program. Some people refer to it as an executive MBA, that's fine, but it is a one-year full-time MBA program.
Thank you. Another question is we have is also anonymous question. Considering the course provides strong technical expertise to students, are students offered more technical-oriented roles compared to management roles post-DEM MBA program?
Just the opposite. In fact, it's not a technical course. It's a course in management where you need to have the appreciation of technology and data, but the focus is more on solving business problem, looking at everything from business lens. And that's where, as I said, it's just the opposite. And then the jobs that you get is also managerial roles, management roles, and not technical roles. So if you are looking at this program to become a technical expert, this is not the program. You should do a different program, maybe from an engineering college, which offers you a good technical degree. This is a managerial degree.
Thank you so much, Professor. Another question we have from Shantanu. I'm having 4+ years of experience of SAP functional consulting experience, and my CAT score is 90%. Is the DEM program good for me, considering my profile?
I mean, I don't see any problem in terms of your application. I said 3 to 8 years is a good spot where, you know, most of the placement happens smoothly, and I would encourage you to apply.
Thank you, Professor. The next is an anonymous question. How long will the entire application process will take after submitting the application? Tanu ma'am, if you could answer.
I think
Actually, yeah, so sorry.
Go ahead.
I would like to mention that the process, the dates we have already mentioned on the website regarding the process, how much time the process will take. You can look into the cycle, and cycle 4 we have mentioned that January 31st we will announcing a result. So the whole process of interview will take place within that time frame.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Avina, regarding the question of batch size, Professor Rajesh already answered that question.
Yeah, it's a batch size of approximately 40 to 50
40,
people.
40, 50. Another, we have an anonymous question. While recruitments, do company have any category for years of experience? Any students range from 3 to 8 years?
No, so when I mentioned 3 to 8 years is based on our experience of companies who come to the campus to recruit students. It's quite possible a company might come and recruit somebody who has 13 years of experience or 12 years. It's more like an outlier. But we find that in this experience range, it is not a challenge and placement happens smoothly. As the number of years of experience increase more than 8, we start finding it challenging to place these students. And that's the reason I'm saying 3 to 8 years, nothing to think. 8 to 10 year category becomes harder. More than 10 years is extremely difficult to place from our institution.
Thank you, Professor. Another question is, sabbatical candidates encouraged?
Absolutely. I think if you are taking a break from your employment and wanting to do this program, you're very welcome to apply.
Thank you, Professor. The another question is, what was the highest CTC offered and how many students got more than 21 lakhs of package?
So what I would encourage is that for every year, we have an audited placement report, which is placed on our website, which is going to give you, in fact, any potential information that could be of value to you as a potential candidate. So you please go to our website and look at the placement section, and you will find the audited report for the last year. For this year, as soon as the placement is over, that report will also be placed. But I encourage you to visit our website.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is from Akshay Vishwanathan. It's also about the course size, and Professor already answered that. Actually, the course batch would be 40 to 50 people in the next cohort. And the course would be start in April, and you can find all the details on the college website. Next question we have from Saurav Sharan. I'm doing a PGDM from DMI Patna, and after that, I'm joining a rural organization. I have 3 to 4 years of rural experience. Would it be considered as an eligibility for the program?
Absolutely. We are not looking at a specific kind of organization. It could be a rural organization, it could be a corporate organization, it could be an organizational experience is what we are looking for. So you're absolutely eligible to apply.
Thank you, Professor. Professor, we do have some few more questions, but I believe it's almost 7.
No, so please go ahead and we will answer them.
Sure. Thank you, Professor. There's another question, anonymous question. Is it a common application process for both DM and GSM program? I believe it's a separate application process for both the courses.
Yes, the application process is separate.
Separate. We have another question is, does any government organization come for placements like Niti Aayog or NGOs?
We haven't had very many government or NGOs coming for placement so far.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. And another question is from Arun Pant. He's given his background, like I'm from infrastructure support engineer. I have nearly 10 years of experience. Do you think DAM program of 1 year MBA is good for me to enhance my chances of better salary and prospects? The question, he puts further more questions, but maybe we can take one after another.
Right. So let's take, because, Arun's question is about 10 years of experience. We have answered that it will be extremely hard for us to place candidates with, approximately 10 years of experience. So in that sense, I would not really encourage somebody with that years of experience to apply for this particular program.
Another question he has on regarding what should be the good Gmat score, and what if I join, what would be the best suitable role I should target after the course? But I believe Professor already answered.
Correct.
Thank you. Another question we have from Harsha. What is considered as a proper work experience? Is freelancing also considered a work experience?
So what I said, Tanu, you have an answer to this? Is freelancing considered an experience?
Freelancing, we cannot consider as experience because we are looking at full-time work experience. So I suppose that if you are working a part-time on freelancing, that will not be considered as a full-time work experience.
Thank you, Tanu ma'am. Another we have other questions are revolving around the placement, anonymous question around placement activity. So what are the roles offered in placement? This already been answered. So another question is, does this course will allow us to have alumni status for the student?
Yes, very much. Once you attend the program, you become an alumni of IIM Udaipur, and you participate in all activities of what alumni network offers.
Thank you, Professor. The another question is, can someone with a sabbatical can participate in the placement activities?
No, those who come on sabbatical do not participate in the placement. So if you're looking for a placement, do not apply through the sabbatical channel. You apply as a regular candidate. All regular candidates would be eligible for placement. So if you go to the website, you will find if you're applying through sabbatical, you are basically certifying that you are not seeking placement. So if your intention is to seek placement, then do not apply through the sabbatical category.
Thank you so much, Professor. So we have covered almost all the questions regarding remaining question, like regarding the sabbaticals, and are already been covered, attendees. Okay, so we have another question coming in. Are students allowed to take multiple job offers at campus, or does the campus have one placement policy?
So Piyush, you can answer that question.
Yes, the campus only has one student, one placement policy, so we cannot take multiple offers from the campus. So I believe the rest of the questions have already been answered. Thank you so much.
There's one question here which says, is this course suitable for a commerce graduate having less than 60 in graduation? As I said, we do not have a specific, you should be a bachelor. We do not specify what percentage you must have, right? So you are eligible to apply.
Thank you so much, Professor.
There are some more I can see.
Okay, so came in, 2 questions just came in. The previous one will already been covered. Okay, that's a thank you from Kapil. I would like to appreciate everyone in the panel for answering each and every question. And there's another question from Sanjana Vashne. I got campus placement post my integrated MTech course. Joining date will be a full-time job was from February 27 onwards. I took a leave of a week and came back to give the exam. Would my experience count from February? Sanjana, I would like to say, if you have total experience of without any break, 3+ experience, you are eligible to apply for the program. If you have a break, 1 week leave, I won't say it's a break, it's a leave.
It doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I think she's saying from February to 17. So, and she's working. So that makes 3 years based on my understanding. But if you have a specific question, then drop a mail to the MBA admissions office and they would be happy to respond. But based on what you have posted here, I see that you have completed 3 years.
Yes. Thank you, Professor. Another question on the sabbatical itself. Can this option of sabbatical be changed later during the course?
No. Once you choose a sabbatical track, you are on a
You are-
sabbatical track and you are not, the meaning of sabbatical is you're taking a break from your employer and you go back to the same employer. You're not participating in the placement. If your intention is to participate in placement, do apply through a regular channel, not through the placement, not through the sabbatical window.
Another question on the placement itself. Are there companies coming from energy and utility sector for recruitment, and what roles they have offered?
Would you be able to answer this? Because I'm not aware of this.
Professor, as far as my experience, no company has come from energy and utility sector. Retail and pharma or companies that came from different sectors, but not from energy part.
Yes.
So for maybe some companies may come in the future. Please be on lookout on the placement report that when it gets uploaded on the website. Okay, another question. Because the questions keep coming in. Okay. Other question is from Harsha Vardhan. Can we be eligible to apply for both DEM and GSM programs?
Yes, you are. You can apply in both the programs, and it's quite possible you get get admission in both of them. So you can choose which one you want to join. You're welcome to apply in both the programs.
Okay. Another question is from Saurabh Sharan. DEM program is more competitive or less competitive than 2-year program of IIM?
It's hard to say that. You will find if you are talking about the course content and delivery, the focus is different. It's quite possible many faculty members who teach in 1-year MBA also teach in 2-year MBA. For example, yes. I teach in both the programs. You look at the placement experience, you have the placement report. Instead of me making any subjective observations, I would encourage you look at the salaries, compensation, average and median salary and things of that kind from the placement report, which is on the website. So I would say if you are interested in a particular domain specific MBA, such as, supply chain or digital, then you choose a 1-year MBA program. And if your intent is to do a general MBA, then you apply in a 2-year MBA program.
Thank you, Professor. There is a question on which companies came from healthcare industry. I believe there is not a company came from healthcare industry. There was a consulting profile offered for the healthcare role, offered in the healthcare domain. So not in healthcare industry didn't come in. This is a consulting role offered in that particular industry. Okay, another anonymous question. I want to go green energy sector post my MBA. Will DEM and IIM Udaipur will facilitate my industry focused placement in green energy sector?
That's hard to say because see, what kind of company would come to look for candidates we have no control over, right? So we can tell you from our experience what kind of companies have come so far, but there is no promise that a particular company in a particular domain will come and recruit. So it's hard for us to say whether a specific type of company or a specific sector specific company will come or not. So it's hard for us to say.
Thank you. Another question from Kapil Gogori again. How is the residential setup in the campus? Is it course based or something else more in campus activities?
So in the campus, you can answer this, Piyush. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor. So the residential setup in the campus, we are a hostel for from 1-year MBA program separately. We have 2-3 separate clusters. The residential setup is very good. You won't find any problem regarding your stay while you stay in IIM Udaipur. And your further question, is it based on course based or something else in the campus activities? So you can participate in any campus activities you want to. There are multiple events and functions being run in the campus. You can participate in anything. It's not limited that you cannot participate. Thank you. And another question is, are there any international offers made? Professor, if I may take this question.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
There was one international offer being made so far. So I believe so. If you are looking for international opportunities, there are some offers being made this year.
But again, it depends on year to year. There is no promise or a guarantee that an international offer would be made.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And then again, which company came for healthcare consulting role? So that's another question from anonymous question.
Yeah. So do you remember that? Otherwise, you can answer.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Professor. The cognizant came for the consulting profile in the healthcare domain. Professor, I believe all the answers of the question have been answered.
So I think what I would like to do is to thank all of you for taking time off to be with us this evening and listen to our presentation about the program and its focus. And, I would like to say that, you should apply in this program if it aligns with your career goals. And if you think this is a program which will help you excel in career, do apply. And thank you very much. Thank you to Tanu and thank you to Piyush for very ably hosting this webinar. And thank you to all of you for listening to us, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. And Professor Kamesh sir has already left due to some time constraint, so we cannot address him anymore. But thank you so much, Professor Rajesh, for attending this session and addressing all the queries and introducing the program. And to all the attendees, I hope we've answered most of your queries. And thank you so much for joining the session. And we wish you very best for your admission process. And I hope to interact with you in the future as an alum of the program. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you have some remaining questions, please feel free to write to the admission office. You can write to us or call Tanu, and she will be happy to answer any question that you may have.
Thank you so much, Professor Rajesh, and thank you so much, Tanu ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who's attending the webinar.